Thanks, Sue. As Sue mentioned, my name is Derek Morgan and I'm the Senior Manager at the eThekwini Energy Office. And the Energy Office is a unit in the municipality. It's situated in the Treasury Department. And we work with a number of different departments on different kinds of projects or programs. One of the big challenges we find is to try and prioritize what we're going to do as interventions around mitigation particularly. So what we've focused on so far, and will do in the medium term, is to focus on energy efficiency. We also have an actual energy strategy, which is incredibly useful. It sets out a number of different themes and actions and responsibilities. And then lastly, we've recently completed a greenhouse gas inventory for the city for 2011 actually, and that's been able to show us where the big greenhouse gas sources are coming from. This is our number, the carbon footprint for the city. It's for 2010, the data, and it's 27 million tons. And it's a bit of an amorphous number, but to put it into some kind of context, the city also has a large deforestation project which you'll hear about in the next presentation. We would need the forest the size of 290,000 hectares to offset the carbon footprint for the city. We need to think beyond just planting trees in terms of mitigation. We need to think about energy efficiency, renewables, and all those other interventions. And for the city, the bulk of our greenhouse gases are coming from imported electricity. Because in South Africa, our electricity comes from coal-fired power stations mostly. But we don't have a coal-fired power station in the city, but we import all of that electricity. So imported electricity as a fuel source is a big contribution. So also as a strategic intervention, we need to think about electricity reduction. Another big wedge is transport, so petrol, diesel, aviation, and fuel. All right, so I'm just going to talk about these different wedges and tell you what as a city we're doing to try and mitigate greenhouse gases. The thinking for us is to move away from this idea of mobilizing people and rather making things more accessible. So it's accessibility above mobility. Okay, the other big wedge is industry. And within industry, the big contributor for industry is electricity, because industry obviously are big power consumers. So you can see that half of the industry wedge is from electricity alone. So by February next year, we will have installed 20,000 solar water heaters on low-cost housing. So it has a huge impact on both the energy consumption, but also social benefits, because people are not out collecting wood or coal to burn. It frees people's time up. There's a big job creation component to this program, so it's a really big success in the country as a whole and in the city. Another program we're working on is this, it's a residential pilot called the Wonder Bag. I actually have an example. The way the Wonder Bag works is, it's essentially a insulated bag, and as you can see, there's a big hole in the middle, and the way it works is you bring something to the boil, so it's rice or beans, you put it in the bag, and then the bag retains the heat and it cooks over time. Like it probably takes, you can really leave it for the day, and it will cook over that day. Our plan is to really try and build on this momentum from COP. Because having COP in the city has been an amazing awareness-raising event. Everybody knows about climate change, and last year climate change was all a little bit up in the air. Everybody knows about it now, so we've got a lot of momentum around climate change. So our idea over the next year or two is really build on that momentum, increase the awareness, and one of the things we've been thinking about is doing a program about know your footprint. So everybody gets involved in calculating their own footprint, because the very first thing we realized is you need to know where your emissions are coming from in order for you to participate in climate change mitigation. As a city, we also don't actually have a climate change strategy, so for the next year we want to develop a strategy that's both mitigation and adaptation focused. And then also we want to integrate there's there's a national climate change white paper which has come out. So we want to integrate that national planning process into our own greenhouse gas targets. That's kind of what we're going to be focusing over the next year. Okay, and I think that's it.